Hello everyone. So in chess there are separate tournaments exclusively for females and also the standard, all gender tournaments. So for example, there's the tournaments in which anyone can enter, male, female, or whatever gender you are, and there's tournaments in which only females can enter. And in that, not only are the tournaments which only females can enter, they could earn separate titles. So for example, you go into the all-gender tournament and you achieve a certain level and you can become a master, international master, or the highest level is grandmaster, okay? But in the female tournaments, you go in there and they have women's titles, women master, women, grandmaster, things like that. And not only do they have their own titles, to achieve these titles, you need less ELO points. That's, the grading system in chess. So if you go to an all-gender tournament and you want to become a grandmaster, you need to get 2,500 ELO points. Not to mention you need grandmaster norms. That's a whole different thing. Okay? You go to if you're a female, you go to all-female tournaments. You only need to achieve an ELO of 2,400. Okay? And so, how do I feel about this? Well, my feelings are pretty much in two parts. The first part is I believe that it's unfair. And the second part is I believe that it's a disservice to the women's equality movement. So let me tackle these one at a time. First off, why do I believe that it's unfair? Okay, well, imagine for a moment that there were separate colleges. There were colleges in which anyone can go to, all gender college. And then there were exclusive female colleges. And not only were there exclusive female colleges, again, these females can earn separate degrees. Instead of just getting, an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a doctorate, there would be degrees would be called like women's associate or women doctorate. And not only could they achieve these separate degrees, only being in female colleges, but they would also only need less credits than if they went to a standard college. So let's just say, for example, to get your doctorate, you need 1,000 credits to to get your doctorate in all gender college. But if a female goes to an all-female college, she would only need 900 credits to get her doctorate. And she wouldn't be treated any different than the doctor community. They would still refer to her as doctor. She would still get paid like a doctor and all these type of things. They would respect her like a doctor. Everything. She would literally be a doctor. The only difference is she'd be called a female doctor on her degree. That would perhaps be the only difference. Well, that's literally what's going on in chess. Me, being a male, for example, say I wanted to become a grandmaster. Well, I have to go there and I have to compete against potentially anyone in the world, from the best all the way to the worst. Someone like Magnus Carlsen, the best chess player in the world, he might be there. Old world champions, Garry Kasparov, whoever the best players are in the world, they could be there in this all-gender tournament. But you go to the all-female tournament, and you're not going to find people like Garry Kasparov or Magnus Carlsen or, Hikaru Nakamura, who has, been the U.S. champion before, because they're all men. And so it's not fair. It's literally not fair, because they're not having to play against all the best people. A lot of the best people can't enter those tournaments because they are male. So it's a literal unfairity simply because they don't have to play against everyone. And the second part is unfairity. Not only do you, in the female tournaments, you don't have to play against all players, which excludes many, many good players. You also only have to get less ELO points to achieve these titles. So, there's almost no explanation needed of how it's just not fair, okay? And the second part, I said that it's a disservice to the women's equality movement, okay? Well, why do I believe that? Well, there are women out there who are fighting for equality. They want the same rights as men, equal pay, and to be treated as equals, all these kinds of things, okay? But when certain other women participate in things like this, or that they vie for things like this, separate female tournaments or female titles and stuff like that, things that are literally not equal, not fair, then that pushes them back a step. It's like other people look at that and it's like, well, it's like you're asking, you want your cake and you want to eat it too. You want the best of both worlds. That is, you want to be treated as equal, but then you want these special privileges, as in being able to obtain a grandmaster title, but literally having to achieve less skill playing against less quality opponents and so on and so forth. And so it's pushing the women back who are fighting very hard to achieve the equality. It's pushing them a step backwards. So what is the argument that certain women use to defend these tournaments? Because like I said, on the surface it doesn't seem it's not equal. I mean, it's obvious. If you just think about it for half a second, you say, wow, that is not equal, that's not fair. And the second part, if you think about it for a second, you say, yeah, that does hurt the women's equality movement. If they want to be truly equal, then, throw your hat in the ring with everybody else. If you want to be a real grandmaster, play against all the other grandmasters and all the world champions, whoever enters the all-gender tournament. That's equality. You get in there like I have to get in there with everybody else and earn your title, whatever your title is. Or don't get a title, like there's a lot of people who never become professionals, whatever. That's equality. Anyhow, so what's the defense of this? Simply enough, they say, well, not a lot of women play chess, which is true. Historically, more so nowadays, more girls and more women are playing chess, but historically a lot of females never played chess. And they're saying if they didn't have these separate titles and tournaments for females, that even less women would play, because it would be harder for them to win, because they would actually have to play against the best people. They're almost literally saying that they don't want the equality because it's too hard. As absurd as it sounds, but that's their argument. Okay, so they're saying already not too many women play. If we didn't have these separate female tournaments, even less women would play. That's the argument. Okay, well, what's the problem with that argument? Well, I could say the same thing about black people, for example. Historically, not a lot of black people play chess. I think in the whole history of chess ratings, there's been thousands upon thousands of people who have achieved the grandmaster title. I think currently in the world there's like 1,500 grandmasters, right? But how many of those are black grandmasters, African American, whatever you want to call them? I think there's maybe 2, 3, 4 at the most, out of like 1,500 in the whole world. And like I said, however many thousands over the course of, since ratings have begun, and there's still only a handful. And part of that reason is because a lot of black people just don't play chess, okay? So the same thing can be said, well, since a lot of black people don't play chess, well, then perhaps we should have all black tournaments and have black titles as well. Black master, black grandmaster, black world champion, right? It's the same level of thinking. If you want more black people to play, well, then have separate tournaments. But then the problem with that is, where does it end? Oh, well, there's not a lot of Asian people, let's say, who play chess. Oh, okay, well, to be fair, there's all women tournaments, there's all, black people tournaments. Well, then it's only fair to have all Asian people chess tournaments as well, and Asian titles, Asian master, Asian grandmaster, and all these type of things. Well, if you're going to have Asian, well, then you have to have Hispanic too. Maybe in certain countries or certain places, not a lot of Hispanics playing. Or regardless, at this point, you want to be fair to everybody. Got to have a Hispanic one. So you got the Hispanic master and Hispanic grandmaster. Okay. And this comes with its own absurdity, because now the problem is, okay, well, some people are half race, like me. I'm half white, half Hispanic. Can I enter into the all Hispanic tournaments? So this is the point. It's a slippery slope once you start doing this and you start making excuses. Oh, well, there's not that many of this group of people who play, so we should have their own tournaments for them. There's not a lot of whoever, And so that's the flaw in the logic. Well, there's not a lot of women who play chess, And so it's justifiable to have all these women tournaments, even though that it's not equal, even though they could earn their titles getting less ELO points. We should have these separate tournaments and separate titles. Literally, it's absurd, and I believe that it should be abolished. Take it easy, everyone.